You ain't do nothing but run your mouth. No, I don't want to be humble now. You doubted me, nothing to talk about.
Or I forgot to. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to loop the intro screen.
Let's give him something to talk about.
Oh, it just popped up.
What do you mean? Yeah, so it just popped up. It runs once and then it's gone. But you gotta, you have to click loop to loop it.
So for anybody interested to know
all this shit,
we're here and ready to go at 9, but some technical difficulties between computers, cameras not working. It's all good now.
It's frustrating.
It's for fun. It's for fun, right?
Well, we need a production manager is what we need to come in and set it up. I don't know that we have anybody. I shouldn't say that stuff like this, but I don't know that we have anybody within our.
We can't handle it.
Right. I'm 59 and I'm working on this stuff, and I always think, well, these younger kids out here and coaches, well, they ought to know this kind of technology, be able to handle this stuff. And then you realize once you get to know them that they're slaves to the technology, but they're not engineers of the technology.
That's a good point. It takes a lot of practice.
They know how to get the content from the technology. They don't know how to make the technology work to get the content.
Yeah. It's got its own little technical.
Oh, Christ.
Aspects.
We got 2 computers. We run the sound through one computer. We run the cameras through each computer. And then sometimes if your computer doesn't recognize the camera, we're not using our actual.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a nice 4K camera, by the way, if you're doing this. Have a
Kio Pro? Is that what it is?
Kio Pro. It's from the Razer people.
Yeah.
Who make all the gaming mouses and gaming headphones and mics and all that stuff. And then what's really sucks is all this shit has to be wired. And because if you go Bluetooth is just not dependable enough. And then you have battery issues too.
Yeah.
So everything's got to be wired still in 2022.
Give it another year or two, and then it'll come out of our brain.
Maybe. Yeah, that's right. It'll come out of our brain. So a few things to talk about today. Did it. I sent out in my email that I thought would be fun to talk about. I want to talk about forging elite fitness. It'd be fun to talk a little bit about the Liver King stuff, just because he's big.
It's a hot topic.
Well, just because he's big, just because he's big in the fitness world, and especially within the CrossFit world, people know who he is, and he's done some incredible things on Instagram and even a workout that I thought was amazing that.
You talk about the Juggernaut?
Yeah, the Juggernaut. But there's a number of things that the guy's done, like to influence people.
Yeah.
And it's come out that he's juiced to the gills. We talk about Spartan.
White sauce.
I want to talk a little bit about the Spartan race and then our experience there, things that they did right and things that they can improve upon.
Mm-hmm.
And then really important I wanted to talk about for affiliates, and it's time to start thinking about it, is painful as it is sometimes to think about as an affiliate owner, is planning for the open if you want to have a really good open. Because I had a phone call with an affiliate owner.
Who'd you talk to?
Sarah at
Vacaville?
CrossFit North Vacaville.
Yeah, cool.
About the open.
Awesome.
But anyway, so I sent out. Well, I was running in the rain last week. It was cold. I did not want to go. And it's kind of a metaphor for, getting started in fitness overall. But I think people think, well, you're out running every day. Boy, you really want to go. No, man, I
really don't want to go.
That cup of coffee I had before that day lasted a long time.
Oh, look at the time. Too much time on the coffee.
What's interesting though, and I will point out the benefits of social media, because every morning what I do is I get up and I have a book that I read, the Stoic quotes, and I kind of read and reflect on that a little bit. I try to not completely immerse myself in technology immediately when I wake up. And then that's Ryan Holiday's book, by the way, if anybody wants to look it up. And then from there, I'll delve into the news.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll check my email and just make sure there's nothing on fire with email. I'll run through those really quick and look at my calendar so I don't miss an appointment that I have, which I've done before. So I make it a point to look at my calendar. Then I look at my email.
It's a good idea.
Then I look at, then I go through the news. which always creates the most amount of stress. Interesting enough, I don't know why I still do it, but
such a slippery slope.
it is. I look at the news, and then if depending upon how long that is, usually like 30 minutes, and then I can go. And then if it's cold and rainy outside, and I got to get motivated, my dogs want to go. That's a good motivation right there because I can tell when they want to go. But the next motivator is I'll usually pull up. You know, if I get to the if I've gone through the news, the next thing I'll do is pull up social media. Look at social media for a second or longer. I confess. But there's usually something motivating on there.
Yeah.
Or someone's doing something like David Goggins will come up first in my post, or Jocko Willink, all these guys that I follow.
Clock.
And by the way, follow these people.
Yes.
Even if you're not interested in them, follow them because they'll have some message for you that might resonate. And there's usually something. I got that guy Papa Swolio.
Yeah. Go to the fucking gym.
Go to the fucking gym. And as funny as it is, like I crack up just because it's just brilliant social media marketing on his part. Yeah. When he does that, I'm like, you know what? I need to go for my run. Yep. And I put down the phone and I go for the run. But anyway, so I went, and when I was out on this run, it was cold as wet. It took like, a good 5-10 minutes before I kind of finally settled in and felt comfortable. And then I realized I was the only one out there. And this was about, 6:45 in the morning. And I would literally I ended up going for an hour because the cool air and you start to get into it and you feel good. And
once you get warm in the run, it's like you can go so much longer.
Oh yeah. Once your core gets warm.
Yeah.
You keep going. But anyway, I looked and then I realized there's no one else out there. It's like, holy crap. Like, it's not that bad out. Like, this is California. And anybody else listening across the country, I apologize. That lives in much more extreme temperatures. We are a bunch of sissies.
They're more elite in the snow.
We are thin-skinned sissies out here. But anyway, and then I started paying attention to people looking at me in cars, and people's faces. It was a crack up. Like people were just like, you could tell there was, it's so shocking. And then it made me feel good. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something that's kind of different than what everybody else is doing. And I'm, as my daughter says, you're flexing. Yeah, I'm flexing a little bit with my run, but it made me feel good. But hopefully, and I think, it's like me getting the Instagram post with, the guy telling me to go to the fucking gym. It's kind of a way to send a message to other people. Hey, you can do this too.
Yeah.
And I know that when I see people exercising, working out, come in here and I see someone in hard work, I'm like, fuck, I need to work out today. Like you see it and you want to do it. You want to emulate it. But what's neat about it is and the way I was thinking about it is, if I've been doing it now 3.5 years because it's my age. My dog's been going for these runs in the morning, and most of the time I'll hardly see anybody at all. If I go into open space, it's 1 or 2 people. And this isn't open space that I drive 20 minutes to. This is open space. It's like a few blocks down the road, half a mile away from my house. And I go into open space and there's days when I won't see a soul.
Anybody.
Yeah. And it's really remarkable to me. And so then I started thinking, well, then essentially it's, in some ways I'm elite, right? Just because I'm the only guy in my kind of small granted, it's a small geographic area. And if you went to an area where there was a college town and young people, you probably see more people. But where I am, I'm essentially elite, and it kind of makes me feel good, and it's inspiring for me, motivating for me. But it's also I hope when other people say it, it's inspiring for them. And I always tell people all the time, just do it, just go, just walk, just get out. If you just start getting up out of bed, lacing up the shoes, dress warm at first. You'll learn how to adjust to temperatures and layer for temperatures as you get into it.
It's kind of like, have you ever taken a cold shower after a training session?
Yeah.
Or just a cold shower in general? It's that initial shock.
That's right.
It just jump in, go for it.
Just jump in,
get yourself breathing and just go.
Literally in a couple minutes. And even if it's just walking, you are going to be elite if you do it. And what's cool is if you do it in the morning,
especially if you're carrying a ruck.
Yeah, carrying a ruck. And that's what I started doing too. I started carrying a backpack, and it kind of makes me feel proud to carry a backpack. And and part of me wants people to ask, hey, how much you got in that backpack?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if a lot of people realize there's weight in that.
No, I don't think they do.
Even more elite.
Though when I see others, like if I've seen someone back, I'm like, oh, they're rocking.
Yeah.
And and it's kind of
good.
Yeah, and it's kind of a kinship. And then that, and I will tell you that too. That's the other kind of cool thing. if you set up a habit of doing
Mhm.
it, you'll see the same people,
Yeah.
though 2 or 3 people, and
That's a
there's
good
kind
point.
of a fist bump that you give you, a mental fist
Mhm.
bump everybody gives each other in the morning when they see each other. Hey, you're doing it too.
The nod.
Nice to see. Yeah, the nod.
Yep.
And that's kind of cool. It's very, very empowering. It's motivating for others. But all you got to do is you got to start. And people say, well, I got to get to work. I got to, I don't have time. I got to commute. And my response to that is, well, then do it when you get to work.
Don't take the elevator. Take the stairs.
Take the stairs.
I mean, how many people are taking the stairs?
Bring a pair of shoes. I remember in like, I don't know, I want to say it was early. No, it was late 90s or something. That was the leanest I kind of almost ever been was when I worked down in the South Market, but the headquarters for my division for Bank of America was at the headquarters at 555 California, and it was a good, it was a good 15-minute walk.
Yeah.
Like if you had to walk fast, make it in 15 minutes, and plus you had
Yeah.
to get in an elevator, do every that, and I would do it like multiple times a day. Like there's multiple meetings. I was terrible at scheduling meetings. I would I'd scatter them, and I'd go back and forth. And I got good at it. And then I started wearing shoes that would allow me to move faster and be more comfortable walking. Nice dress shoes. But there were also people that would come to the city and they'd bring tennis shoes so that they could walk. And you don't have to build a huge sweat. You don't even have to sweat. Is just move and take that break during the day and do it. You can take a break. You can, and I'll tell you this. There's some people say, well, I can't, because of the commute, I got to be in my desk a certain time. You will become a better employee, a better worker, more focused, more productive if you include this in some way in your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So to suggest that your work is the reason why you're not doing this, and granted, service workers, it's much more difficult. But for desk jockeys, you can find a way. You get breaks.
Really need it more than
there
anything.
are breaks mandated by law, and instead of going to break ground, sitting down, eating those things, go for what you will. It will be life changing for you. Figure out a way. Walk home, or take the long way home, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
The long way to the BART station. More walking. Include it in, and then if you can, then turn it into a jog. It doesn't need to be run. I barely run. I mean, I jog, but my pace is slow. My dogs stop often. If they see other dogs that they like, we always stop and say hello. Like I make it enjoyable. And usually it ends up being an hour and 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. But you come back, and when I get back, it's a mood changer, man. I'm literally I can even be in a shit mood when I start, and I come back and I feel like this is gonna be a great day.
Yeah.
So
there's also a lot of time to reflect in that time when you're walking.
Well, that's absolutely right. So and I will say, a lot of experts say, leave the technology behind. Don't stick your buds in your, don't do phone calls. I mean, if you've got to, you got to, but because that's better than not doing it with, but take that stuff out of that technology out of your hands and just listen to nature.
Yeah. It's good for you.
Get inside your head, plan your day. But that brings me to what not to do to be elite, because it became a hot topic this week, and it is somewhat related because people thought of this guy, the Liver King, as being elite, and he certainly portrayed himself as being elite in a lot of different ways. One, in terms of his
calling everybody subprimals,
his amazing physique. Like literally, guys, obviously as a bodybuilder, it would be just fantastic,
unsustainable.
Well, I understand, but like the guy's got an amazing physique, and he tans really well, or he uses whatever tanning agent he uses. But the guy, and with his beard, he just looks ferocious, right? He epitomizes the testosterone enriched male,
raw testicles,
and then he does primal things, right?
Yep.
He eats raw meat, raw liver,
which is all got a lot of really good benefits to it.
Oh, sure. There are some benefits to some of that stuff.
There's a certain limitation that you're going to get out of it.
Right. But then it was recently disclosed, and he had denied, and then
he denied hard,
and then avoided questions regarding supplementation, steroid supplementation. And
I don't think he avoided it. I think he flat out just.
I heard a couple of conversations where he wouldn't address the question. Like they would ask the question,
And
"Hey,
he
are you
just
taking
worked
steroids?"
around it.
And he would just work around it. He goes, "Let me tell you what I do. You know, I eat this,
Yeah.
this."
That's true. I follow the nine principles.
Yeah,
and
he wouldn't say, "I
Yeah.
am not taking steroids."
never said no.
Yeah.
No, but then he did.
Well,
And then
no,
he even had
he did in a few
Yeah.
interviews. He did,
Yeah.
but for the most part, recently I saw that he just simply would avoid the issue altogether. But anyway, point being that it was discovered
yeah
and disclosed, and then he subsequently apologized publicly
ish.
that you know, he misled his community. That he in fact was taking an inordinately a large amount of steroids.
Quite the investment.
Yeah, and it was all part of a specific strategy
Mhm.
to build his online presence and then sell his
Supplemental.
primal supplements, which mostly consist of desiccated meat products, right? And so that you could ingest liver and internal and beef organs and those types of things, but they're in the dried pill form.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he was actually working with Paul Saladino.
Yeah, Paul Saladino.
Yeah, and I was listening to something, and Paul was talking about how he's regrettable on not pushing a little bit more back as far as like, what are you taking? Come on,
Right.
because like as a partner, it's like you kind of want to be in the know. You don't want to be,
But we're talking in terms of supplements. This guy's selling tens of millions of dollars of supplements.
Yeah, which is really hard. There's a moral thing there when you think about how hard he's selling these supplements and telling people that he's only getting this physique through certain.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Nutritional. No.
I couldn't do it.
No.
I mean, it's just that's just
like I said, it's a moral thing, right?
It's a moral thing. It's a character issue. And it's and it's sending a message to to kids and everybody else, like it's okay to lie in order to achieve a better outcome for yourself.
Well, he's getting blasted pretty good out there on the interwebs. I'm pretty sure other kids are gonna look up to that one.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing that really pisses me off about it. I liked his videos, liked his workout stuff, and liked some of his messaging, though I thought it was over the top. But the part that really upsets me about it, and I suspected, but I don't like to suspect based on appearance. Like I try to avoid that because through, for most of my life, I started lifting weights at a young age, 15, 16, and really started to develop muscularity in my 20s. And people would make those accusations of me, like, "Oh, you take steroids? Oh, you take steroids?" And it used to it used to really piss me off.
Yeah.
And now I somewhat take it as a compliment, like, okay, well, they must think I'm jacked, but it's still, it irks me a little bit because no, I never have, and I don't think I ever will. And unless it was prescribed by a doctor to save my life, right?
To save your life, not necessarily just to
enhance my life. I don't need it.
Yeah.
And my testosterone levels are normal for a 59-year-old man. And I achieve which is less than what I had when I was 49, and certainly significantly less than 39, 29. And I don't make strength gains. I get injuries, take a lot longer to heal, all of those things. And certainly testosterone supplementation or HGH supplementation would probably make me feel better. Though I'm well aware of the consequences of those types of things and the potential side effects and that come along with it. And the fact of being tethered to a pharmaceutical company for the rest of my life is not something that I don't like taking pills or drugs. And so the idea of being tethered to a pharmaceutical company for the rest of my life just like it goes against a lot that I believe. But anyway, so back to my point being that now people assume that if you are jacked, there's more evidence. Look at Liver King. He said he wasn't taking them either. That was the thing that pissed me off about, the top CrossFit athletes that have been busted.
Yeah.
That said they weren't.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't need to do it. Like I really resent when people immediately make an assumption, and especially online, you see that they instantly, all the CrossFit athletes are taking. Someone made one of those WOD memes or and maybe it was WOD meme. I don't know which one it was. Made a suggestion that distended belly was the result of
a side effect or
a side
something
effect of HGH,
yeah.
human growth hormone, or synthetic growth hormone, one of the two. And then it was a suggestion that it was like no Olson. And that really kind of like that's really frustrating for me. It's like these guys work very, very hard. They train, like they're training at the edge of human performance experience. Like they're doing things in terms of training that haven't been done before, and are achieving results that we've never seen before in terms of work capacity across broad time and modal domains. And to immediately jump to steroid use is really an insult to the
methodology
work, to the methodology, to the work ethic, to the work that they've done. And that's why when athletes do it, it's so crushing to me.
It is,
because it really takes away from all of that, and it devalues the brand, devalues the efforts of the athletes. It's an insult to me, who has medaled at the CrossFit Games, when people make those types of assumptions. And I've got that's why here at Diablo we have a zero tolerance policy with respect to performance enhancing drugs. You take, you use, you test positive, boom, you're out, you're gone.
No questions.
No questions. And we strip the wall of any history of you at this facility, because there's too many people that have their reputations at risk here. And people that have built a career in CrossFit and in Olympic lifting, and even strongman that would risk their reputations being damaged as a result of one person fucking up. But anyway, all the way back to Liver King, like it really, it's disheartening for me, because it fuels the haters.
Yeah. And the whole thing with, CrossFit is still somewhat new, right? I mean, it's 20 years old, right? Like as far as like the methodologies.
Yeah. It's becoming more mainstream.
It's becoming more mainstream. And even before, when it was so early on, the physiques that CrossFit athletes were having and the stuff that CrossFit athletes are doing in the textbook is impossible.
Yeah.
Right. Like the whole old theory of strength and conditioning, you don't do high volume Olympic lifting. You don't combine Olympic lifting with gymnastics. Like that was something that you didn't do. And the fact that we have kind of tapped into a whole new type of human potential, it opens up a different physique.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that physique is juicing. It just means that physique is working really fucking hard, doing something that was supposedly done, that was unsafe or not possible.
That's something that I've said many, many times. Come into CrossFit, eat healthy, and your body will take the shape that God or nature intended.
Exactly.
Like and we
100%.
and we haven't seen, like, CrossFit is demonstrating what that physique is.
And has been for the last 20 years.
And unfortunately, a lot of places where you saw that physique in the past was people that were using performance enhancing drugs.
Yep.
Like that type of muscular growth.
Yep.
That type of leanness with muscular growth
and or capacities.
Oh, well, yeah. And then especially
putting in the capacity,
incredible work capacity.
Yeah.
And that was something that Tony Budding used to talk about too. They were, in the early days of CrossFit, they were blown away by what new boundaries were being broken year after year after year. So
thanks.
I'll be honest, we do need to figure out how to do that. And I don't know if it's not switching positions. Like if I
boom. Is that better?
Yeah, but see, okay.
So now we're looking at each other.
Okay, it does look like I look at each other. Right?
Thanks, Travis.
All right, good.
Thank you, Vindicate.
Was it really that fucking easy to do that?
I guess it was. I didn't even think about it until I saw that. I was like, "Oh,
we're learning. Right. We're learning as we go along."
We had enough distractions getting this thing live, anyways.
Anyway, so it not a lot, but anyway, yeah. So back in the day, they were just blown away by how they were pushing the boundaries of performance, but pushing the boundaries of daily work capacity, like training volumes and those types of things. It was awesome. And I think that the problem with that is that as we break new boundaries in terms of work capacity, strength, especially, and then physiques and how they look, and especially women, and how the women look, people will instantly jump to they must be taking steroids.
Speculations.
And assholes like the Liver King don't fucking help. So that guy's going on my unfollow list, and it's kind of a hey, the Bruce Wayne's here, yay, dude, awesome. So on to the CrossFit Spartan race. It was a cool idea.
Yes.
Hastily planned.
I think that was the biggest issue.
Well, and it was, and I don't know that we can speculate. I'll have to talk to Katie Hogan or Dave Castro and see what their thoughts were, or why it happened so fast. Like we only found out 3 weeks ago.
Not even 3 weeks. I feel like it was like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it was 2.5 weeks ago that we found out that we could apply, that we could participate in this thing, and keep in mind it was free for everybody. So that's, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then the heat times, which people that do a lot of Spartan races knew that we weren't going to get early heat times, that we were likely going to have heat times in the afternoon. Well, it turns out we got heat times at like 4 and 4:30.
For my original heat time was at 4:50.
We had almost 20 people from Diablo go. So we had, which really cool is that we had the largest affiliate representation, single affiliate representation at the Spartan event.
Awesome.
The bad news is that it was raining and cold. Like it was 40 degrees, raining. And then when they got there, they had to wait about an hour and a half. So by the time they went in the dark. Well, it was,
they had the lights, but when it's dark like that, that's even colder.
Well, it's cold and it's discouraging, but they hung in there and they did it. And they had a great time. If this is something that CrossFit does in the future, I'm confident Castro's not an idiot.
Yeah.
They will get more advanced planning. They'll get more, there'll be better planning, more advanced planning, earlier heat times. It'll likely cost money. So I think what happened is, my feeling is that what Spartan had, it was an opportunity because they had later heats that were empty or, lesser filled for this event. And then I bet they reached out to CrossFit because Dave and the CEO of Spartan are friends, both Navy SEALs, ex-Navy SEALs. And I bet he reached out and said, hey, how'd you guys like to do this or get involved in it? And then it was hastily put together, but it was, we got great reviews from everybody in terms of like, they were really excited that this was happening. We have a lot of people that like to do Spartan, and when we did in the CrossFit world, they have a lot of people people like to do Spartan races. Yeah. You and I have done them. We found them to be organized, despite the large number of peoples. Fun,
especially with the large number of people. It's crazy.
Not taxing.
No.
I mean, unless you do the longer ones, the beast ones.
The super. I've done 2 supers. And they're good. They're good.
And they have some events that are similar to CrossFit.
Yeah, like the DECA.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The DECA Fit thing.
I saw DECA is also doing one at an affiliate in San Leandro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is a nice marriage if it happens in terms of providing a really professionally run outlet for CrossFit, the CrossFit community, to participate in some sort of competition event that allows them to showcase their work capacity.
Yeah,
that they've been working on so hard. Are people like doing them? And I think it would be very challenging for CrossFit to do this on their own, to create these community events. And I also think, in my experience with local events are good, but they're not near the quality and organization level of a Spartan.
No.
And Spartan gives you the freaking medals, and if you do multiple ones, the medals come together. They do it all right. Like they get all the badges and levels and everything else. And if they can partner with someone like Spartan, I think that'd be tremendous for us.
They got the kids stuff, so they're getting the youth involved,
right.
which is
so they got the kids races and everything. So, hats off to Dave and CrossFit for putting this together. And if you do it again in the future,
Give us some more time.
Give us a little more time. We'll get even more people there.
Yeah.
I mean, we rallied 20, but there were quite a few CrossFits that had handfuls of people that went, and so it was a pretty big crowd of CrossFitters that went. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask though. Apparently, there was going to be muscle ups in it. That Dave wanted muscle ups in it as part of the.
They had the rings.
Oh, they did have rings.
They did have the rings.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool. Right. So I don't know how that worked, but
especially with the rain.
Yeah.
I think the rain definitely kind of fucked a lot of it up.
Bruce said it looked miserable. So one of our members, Ian, he's a big dude, he's a big, strong dude. I saw him yesterday, and yesterday was Saturday, and then he had gone on Friday, and he said it was yesterday afternoon. I saw him. He said, my feet are just now warming up from yesterday.
I mean, standing on that's the thing about the
event itself was good, but it was miserable.
Location of the event, right?
It was miserable out there.
I mean, like you think about the location of the event, like personally, and I've heard a few other people say about like the races that are done in the stadiums.
Yes,
you're on pavement.
Yeah, the whole time
on pavement the whole time.
Yeah,
and imagine on pavement in the rain.
Yeah,
the whole time.
On San Francisco Bay.
Yeah. I think like doing a run out in the mud or something like that would be a little bit different. Oh, yeah. Just, I mean, on your feet alone.
Here's the other little thing that was the little snafu that was the Oracle Park doesn't allow backpacks.
That was a big backfire.
It's an Oracle Park thing. It's not a Spartan thing. It was Oracle Park because I've been to baseball games there and they don't let you bring backpacks in.
It sounded like it was a lot of inconsistency though. Like some people had backpacks in, some people got told to walk their backpack back to their cars. Like that's
and by the way, in San Francisco, you don't want to leave your backpack in your car.
Not these days.
Not these days.
Not these days.
For other reasons we don't need to get into.
Yeah, you could just watch the news and figure it out.
Yeah. And then related to that, I want to talk about the Open because the Open's coming up and planning ahead. And I had a conversation with a CrossFit affiliate owner this weekend about planning for the Open and things to do and judging and all of that. And running the Open at an affiliate is an affiliate owner's. Like it is one of the hardest things you'll do all year long.
Yeah.
Thank God it's 3 weeks. And and CrossFit has totally bought into the 3 weeks.
That was one of the better moves they did with this whole change.
Brilliant.
The 3 weeks. And then going into the quarters and semifinals for athletes that are able to show more capacity.
Yeah.
I think that was a brilliant move.
No question. And because 5 weeks like of that was just it's hard to keep people interested.
Remember when it was 6?
I do remember when it was 6. Just keeping your community involved and going and participating. But we would see the fall off of people participating. 3 weeks let you get the majority of people through it.
Yeah.
So
but it's easier to commit.
Yeah. So what I would do now is I would start communicating with your affiliate community. Start sending out emails, start posting on your social media, start posting in your Facebook groups that you have for your community about the Open Covenant, encouraging people to participate. In terms of, because there are some affiliates that just don't do the Open, don't participate in the Open. And I would say that's, I don't like that. It may be right for your community, but I think
missing the boat.
Yeah. Well, so I think it is important that we support the sport of fitness. Granted, I understand that sometimes there are conflicts with the sport and with owning an affiliate, but the CrossFit Games and the CrossFit Open are a unique and distinguishing characteristic of CrossFit itself. No other fitness methodology has their own sport. No other fitness methodology has their own test of what they do. And the CrossFit Games athletes epitomize everything that is happening here in an affiliate. They are the extreme example of what can happen when you CrossFit at the highest level. And you can emulate that in your own affiliate on a smaller scale. It gives you an opportunity to test your fitness year over year. How have you been doing over the year? Did you do better than last year? So we've got our own test, but it distinguishes us from all other methodologies. The other thing that I think is important about the Open and CrossFit Games is that if I make my community fans of the sport, participate in the sport, and fans of the sport, it's another hook in them to keep them on board here with my affiliate. You know, we look for ways to keep our members coming, keep them part of CrossFit, keep them part of Diablo CrossFit in this case. And this is one more way that we can do it. And what's cool about the Open is it's 3 weeks of 3 community events where they're coming together, they're cheering each other on, they bring their family and friends, they watch the whole thing go down. We do it as Friday Night Lights, that works. But if you want to run it effectively and you want to have a great Open with less headaches, start planning now.
Yeah.
Start figuring, are you going to do Friday Night Lights? Are you going to do Saturday main event? Are you going to do it, you know?
Yeah, are you going to open up for Sunday?
Are you going to do it in class, not in class?
Yeah.
And we can go into all of those things, and we will probably do that over the next.
Yeah.
And I think we should do that as
we'll,
part of a topic of discussion every week.
We'll continue on with this like you said, this topic, because there's so many different aspects of the Open that we can. I mean, from what should I do? Should I scale? Should I do the foundations?
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of different options that, you know, as a coach, a lot of people come to me and ask, hey, what? I'm not quite consistent with my double unders. Should I scale this workout? And I think a lot of people just need to realize, like, this is a chance for you to test yourself and see where you are in your fitness.
Yeah.
And then over the next year, how much better can you get?
Yep.
Right. It's in my opinion, like, this is the CrossFit year-end goal, right?
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to perform when there's a judge judging you, holding you to standards? So that way you have a real measurable test that you can repeat down the road.
Yeah, no question. So start your planning now. One of the things to think about, and one of the things I talked about with this affiliate owner, was making sure that they had enough judges and whether or not they should pay their coaches for judging. It was a very good conversation. There's lots of different opinions on it. One of the things that she agreed upon with me is that all of our judges, we require anybody that wants to judge on the Open that they pass the CrossFit Judges Certification course.
Yeah.
It's $10. Most people will bitch about it.
I bitch about it.
And they bitch about taking it. And the test sometimes can be hard.
Yeah.
But everybody that completes it, literally every single person that bitched about it told me, oh, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah. It's a good source of education too. I mean,
Right.
like we go through all of this stuff. We go through continued education with level 1, level 2, level 3, soon to be a level 4. But at the same time, for an average member that, you know, may not fully understand the reasoning behind some of these standards, or like what the actual standards is, this is a perfect chance to actually educate yourself on, you know, what is below parallel, what are the rules that we have to follow and why we're following these rules.
That's right.
It's standardized.
Yeah.
So we can measure and repeat.
And those people that take it, helps make them better athletes.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I always say, like, as a coach, when you coach, if you've never coached and you've been competitive and you figure out how to coach somebody, it's going to make you a better athlete.
Yeah.
And this is one of those opportunities where you're not coaching, but you're learning the nuanced aspects of, you know, what's a good rep, what's a bad rep. It's going to make you a better athlete.
Yep. So it's I would encourage your members that want to judge and your coaches that want to judge, make sure that they have the judges certification course, and that goes to support CrossFit as well.
Yeah.
Putting $10 into CrossFit to help CrossFit, you know, continue this sport. I will say that a good way to help encourage and get people to judge or have enough judges during the Open is to create incentives for people to judge. And we do that through an intramural Open where we pick teams within the gym. We could talk more about that too in future podcasts, but we pick teams. We don't do a draft where we have done a draft. We draw the names out of the hat.
We did a draft via hat.
So we drafted the top people.
Yeah.
And we all know who those are in our gyms.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the people were picked out of a hat, and it turned out to be really cool. And then
that was a really fun year.
Right. And we score the points for scaled athletes, for men and women scaled athletes. We do masters. We give points for those top performances, and then we give top performances just in the general open category. And we also give people points for judging.
Yep.
And so what that created was this.
We had too many judges.
We had too many judges,
which is great. I mean, too many is not a problem to have. Right? It's a good problem. But at the same time, along with that, like I was just going to jump back on to the different ways that we scored was also doing it with the community.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not doing it by yourself in open gym, but showing up to come
Yeah.
out.
Oh yeah. You got points.
Yeah.
You got points for showing up.
Yeah.
We created a point program that basically incented what we wanted for our, what we wanted to have happen. We need lots of judges, give points for judging.
Yeah.
Right. We need everybody to come to Friday Night Lights, give them points for showing up for Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Like you literally craft the point structure to
molding.
To achieve the results that you want within your open. And it worked great.
It did.
It absolutely worked beautifully. And then we give team spirit prizes, or points, and that got out of hand.
We did what was it, the purple green machine where they when they won they got like the patches,
the purple rain and the green
rain. That's right, purple rain
and the green machine.
Yeah.
And then the ambiguous blue team
started to get whatever that was. It was like indigo.
Felt terrible for those guys.
I was on that team, by the way.
Yeah, and then the purple team won. They got a patch at the end that declared them as winners, and it was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I still have to. It's been multiple years since that happened, and I still hear about it.
Yep, still see the patches too.
The purple rain people. Anyway,
purple people leaders.
Yeah, but anyway, so start now though. Sit down with your best event planner at your affiliate, like your coach that's an event planner or a member that's an event planner, someone that's good at organizing this kind of stuff, and start outlining how it's going to go within your affiliate, and then start getting the word out.
So I was going to ask, like, if for some affiliate out there that's never done this before, if you were to say 3 things just to simplify the process to get it started, what would you say? A, get somebody to help take the lead on planning it, but find someone that wants to lead the effort. It might be you, and that's the way it goes. Okay. But find someone to do it. I think to make it go easier, I think too is decide now when you are going to do it. Mm-hmm. Are you going what day? Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, in class.
Yeah. Like we could talk about that one another time.
We can, but make that decision now.
Yeah.
Because that will help you plan, and then make. I think the other thing is,
putting you on the spot here.
I know. Well, I'm just gonna repeat. I think what can help now is to make it easier and to get more people signed up is start providing information about the games in the open now.
Yeah.
There's CrossFit has already produced content. They've sent out to the affiliate owners the social media posts that you can use, information you use. There's some great videos. Start putting that to your community now as to why they should do the open, so that you don't have to spend time the week before the open selling the open.
Yeah.
And this is something that I'm going to start leaking to within our social media is the why you do the open, and then all this week on our Sugar Wad picture of the day, it's going to be pictures from the open. So that it starts to kind of make the suggestion and get people excited about it. Unfortunately, even with our amazing communities, we still have to sell these people on doing stuff. And if you do that now, I think if you start now, by the time you get to the open, everybody's going to be talking about it. Everybody's going to be excited. Everybody's going to want to sign up.
Yeah.
But it's got to start now.
Yeah.
You can't try and do it in the last week. You just won't.
Don't wait till January.
No. And go to the CrossFit Games website, go to CrossFit Games YouTube, go to, especially their YouTube. And there are just some amazing videos there. Mm-hmm. Adaptive athletes, masters athletes, all of that stuff. Open celebration stuff, and amazing stories. Share that.
Yeah.
Put that out to your community. You'll get them pumped up. They'll want to participate.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that over the next few weeks too, just to kind of break down what we're going to do.
Yeah. I think that's it for the week.
Yeah, that's it.
Good. So we'll bring you more on the open as we go along. In the meantime, you guys have an awesome week.
Definitely.
All right.
Enjoy.
Cheers.